We've had the opportunity to go on about 100 international training trips to almost 40 countries, and there have been some pretty amazing experiences. And as you can imagine, we've made a good number of mistakes along the way. We hope that you'll be able to learn from our mistakes as you travel and serve in the name of Jesus. As you travel to different places in the world, you're going to have some local people offer you some of their favorite foods. Most of it you're going to love, but there will always come a time when you'll be given a treat just so they can see your reaction when you taste it. I'm saying reaction because they probably already know that you won't like it. But for some reason, we enjoy seeing people struggle to eat something distasteful. The general rule for me is to take a bite, a legitimate bite, not just a polite nibble, and then give an honest evaluation to the host. Like, wow, that's great. That will probably get you seconds and thirds, and it's going to be served to you more often. Or, that's interesting. How do you make it? That lets them know that you're interested and you value it, but it's not going to be a recipe you take home with you. Or, really? You like this? Of course, your face will probably reveal what you think about it, and they love seeing that reaction. You might even take a second nibble just to confirm the fact that you don't really like it at all. I'd rather respect them by tasting it and then being honest and respectful about it and let them know whether I like it or not. You don't want to just turn it down without tasting it. That's rude. And you don't want to lie about it because you'll just get even more of it. To help even things out and maybe help them understand how I feel about eating strange foods, I usually bring something I like that I think they wouldn't enjoy very much, like black licorice or cinnamon red hots or peanut butter. It's fun to watch someone try peanut butter for the first time. Their reaction is a bit like an American trying Vegemite from Australia. It's just funny. One of my early training trips was to Argentina, and I packed a good-sized jar of peanut butter to give to my host family. It was in a rural community, and I was pretty sure that they had never tasted it. The night that I pulled the peanut butter out of my suitcase was the same night that they had served me blood sausage, and they laughed at me and my reaction. So I turned the tables a bit and I served up my treat. They each took a very tiny taste of the peanut butter, made all kinds of faces to show their disgust. We all laughed a good bit, and then they put the lid on it and they put it up on a shelf in the living room as a souvenir from the American guest. They had no intention of eating it ever again. Here's the sad part of the story. I told the local missionary, an American, about the evening and how funny it was to see their reaction to the peanut butter. I shared how they proudly displayed it as a souvenir. She smiled politely and then said quietly, "Do you know how much my kids would love to have a jar of peanut butter? It's one of those treats from home that we just can't get here." She went on to explain that when teams come to visit, they always think about what they can bring to the local people, but most often they don't think about bringing things to bless the missionaries whose families may need some encouragement. I hadn't even thought about them. It was very sobering, and all I could think about was how could I get that jar of peanut butter back? But that wasn't going to be possible. 2 Timothy 2:6 says, the hardworking farmer should be the first to receive a share of the crops. We're reminded to take care of the workers serving in the field, the families who've given up so much to bring the gospel to difficult areas of the world. So as you and your team prepare to go and serve internationally, do some research to discover how you might be able to bless the missionaries and their kids. What would be a special treat Is there something they need around the house? Is there a service project you could do for them? How can you bless them physically, financially, spiritually? How can you encourage them and let them know how grateful you are for their ministry? Here are a couple things to think about together. Imagine that you and your family were living outside of the U.S. for the last year. What kinds of things would you miss the most? Brainstorm together different ways to discover some of the things that would bless the family that you are going to serve. We hope that you'll keep on learning from our mistakes and keep on traveling, taking the good news with you wherever you go.